What is up? It's your boy Ronan back at you again. It's been a while, I know. I've been a bit under the weather, and also the holidays came around, so sorry I'm quite late with this, but I've got quite a few videos coming out hopefully this month, so I'll make up for it. If you don't know who I am, I'm a illustrator, artist, designer, but most importantly, comic book fan. I have a really cool online comic called The Heavy. You can check it out. Link in the description below. If you like mechs, militaristic drama, sci-fi kind of stuff, I think you'll dig it. So check it out. So I mostly do fan art of comic book stuff I like and geek stuff I like, but I'm also starting to do comic book reviews. So today I'm going to be doing a review of the infamous comic All-Star Batman and Robin by Frank Miller and Jim Lee. Now, this comic book is infamous for a number of reasons. I hadn't even read it yet, but I had already decided I was going to be a contrarian and be like, I'm going to disagree with everybody, because a lot of the stuff that a lot of comic book nerds are into, I'm not into. I'm more sophisticated, but no, man, they were right about this comic book. I don't think it's as bad as people say, but it's got problems. So let's get into it. So technically, I guess the whole title is All-Star Batman and Robin: The Boy Wonder. This comic book takes place within the kind of Millerverse world of like the Dark Knight Returns, the whole Dark Knight universe, and also Batman Year One. Two excellent comics written by Frank Miller. This is more like I saw someone say something like this is kind of like Batman Year 1.5. So this is very early in Batman's career, and this comic kind of focuses on more how he came about training Robin and bringing Robin into the fold. So it very much concentrates on Robin as his sidekick. And that's a really cool concept, you know what I mean? Most of the time, it's about Batman 90% of the time. And it's kind of cool how Batman kind of is commenting on how Robin is so quick. He catches on to stuff fast. He's really smart. He's a great acrobat and a good fighter. And I never really thought about Robin as being cool, but the way Batman sees him, he sees him as not just his protege, but technically further along than he would have been at that stage. So I think it just makes Robin look cool. So let's get to just the crazy or the controversial aspects of it. In this comic, Batman is real kind of crazy acting. He's not the quiet kind of dour kind of Batman. I mean, he is, but dour, but he very much likes his job. He laughs a lot. He enjoys inflicting punishment on the bad guys. It's not like in the normal comics where he beats up a guy or whatever and goes on about his business. He's laughing the whole time. He's talking crap. And a lot of people didn't like this aspect of it. There's one part in the comic where he constantly, well, not one part, I think in every single issue, it's a 10-issue miniseries. Well, it was supposed to be more, but they only got around to 10 issues. In every issue, I think he calls himself the goddamn Batman. At one point, he's asked why would he name his car the Batmobile, and he says, I'm the goddamn Batman, I'll name my car whatever I want. So a lot of people had problems with that, but to be honest, that kind of didn't bother me in the sense that eventually I think Batman would say, hey, I'm Batman, shut up. You know what I mean? Like, I always find it funny, like when someone tries to attack him, or like a thief or a robber will, take a swing at him. It's kind of like you would think at some point people go, okay, it's Batman, I'm not going to fight him. So he would get fed up at some point, I think, and say something like that. But all the characters are kind of over the top like that. There's a sort of a nascent Justice League in this comic because, again, it takes place very early in the timeline. So, like Green Lantern just acts his the way he talks is just really stupid. He talks like a slack-jawed yokel or something. At one point, him and Batman, when he's talking to Batman and Batman leaves, and then Green Lantern goes, I don't think I like that guy very much at all. Just the way everyone acts is just so absurd. And it's totally over the top. It's almost like if Quentin Tarantino wrote Batman or something, and I think a lot of comic book nerds just didn't understand that. Like, this is not supposed to be taken seriously to a certain degree. Like, for instance, when Batman meets with the Green Lantern, Green Lantern, who not a favorite character of mine, but his weakness is the color yellow. So Batman has him meet him in the room, and Batman painted the whole room yellow, and he painted himself yellow and Robin yellow. But it's like, why would he paint the room? Why would he not just wear yellow or wear a yellow uniform? Why would he have to paint? He literally painted himself. So it's this absurd scene where Batman and Robin have paint all over them, and they're like dripping. It's just stupid. You know what I mean? It's not meant to be taken seriously. So, yeah, I think that just went over people's heads. I don't get why they couldn't understand that. Also, the absurdity of the comic book also it's kind of jarring. There's a little bit of dissonance there because Frank Miller has always liked to do this kind of crime noir writing style, which I've never really been a fan of. I don't think crime noir mixes with superhero stuff personally, but he likes to do that. But the crime noir aspect mixed with the absurdity of some of the stuff that's going on, it just doesn't match to me. So yeah, I wish he would have just gone one way or the other. Either just be straight up absurd. I mean, I prefer he doesn't do crime noir stuff at all. It's just kind of annoying personally, but also Batman kind of like treats Robin really badly. Which, I mean, on one hand, I get why everybody was mad about it, and it was kind of out of character for him. But then at the same time, if he was going to train someone up to do what he does, it would be a very harsh training. It would be very Spartan. But yeah, he treats Robin pretty bad. And he does stuff like leave him in the Batcave with no food and just tells him to find his own food or whatever. Stuff like that. Also, seems like Batman kills people in this comic. I'm not 100% sure. It doesn't show him actually, a dead body, but like there's one part where he's, the Batmobile, the rockets from the Batmobile set a bunch of cop cars on fire. I'm assuming those dudes are dead. And also one thing I didn't like, there's a lot of violence in the comic, but it's kind of mean-spirited. It's like a lot of the characters seem to revel in causing harm, which I didn't really like that. It was very mean-spirited in that way. Like in the meeting with the Green Lantern, where they're all painted yellow, Robin attacks Green Lantern and almost kills him. Like he crushes his larynx or whatever. And it's just like, what's the deal with this? You know what I mean? Why would he do that to Green Lantern? Green Lantern's not a bad guy. So just very kind of mean-spirited and violent. Another negative I would say about the comic is it really drags. It's about 10 issues. They never really finished the miniseries, and nothing really happens in the miniseries, honestly. By issue 10, they're trying to figure out who killed Robin's parents, who gets killed in the first issue. They're nowhere on that. They introduce, Batgirl trying to, start on her little career. That goes nowhere. Black Canary is introduced. That goes nowhere. There's a cool storyline I would have liked to see where the Justice League decides to try and take down Batman. That would have been really cool to see. Doesn't go anywhere with that. It literally nothing happens in the whole comic book in 10 issues. Oh, and the Joker is introduced, although he's introduced rather late. But again, we don't get to what the Joker's trying to do. So yeah, nothing happens in the comic book. It's just a bunch of dialogue between Robin and Batman a lot, and them beating up, him beating up bad guys and low-level bad guys, not any more major or important to the story. I think this comic is an example of Frank Miller just being too big I mean, he's still too big, but especially at the time when this was written, around 2005. And this took years to even get to issue 10. But I think he's just like, what's the editor going to tell Frank Miller? Oh, you need to change this. Like, Frank Miller can kind of do whatever he wants. And he kind of did in this comic book and it shows. And it's just not good. The Jim Lee art is really good, really highly detailed work. Although personally, I don't really feel like well-written comics don't necessarily need really good art to me, or a superstar artist rather, because the story is what's important. Although again, the story's not that great in here. But yeah, Jim Lee's art really good, super detailed. I could see why Jim Lee. I mean, this comic book was late because I could see why Jim Lee would be late doing this art, and also I think Frank Miller was late or had other things going on. But yeah, when you look at this hyper detailed work by Jim Lee, you could totally see why I was late, and it's some of his best work. And I'm not even a Jim Lee fan anymore, really. I was back in the 90s or whatever, but yeah, this is really good art. Also, another aspect I like about the comic is well, it's funny when I do these comic reviews. I did them to be quicker and easier than my other videos, which they are, but they still take more time than I expect. And so after I read the comic book and I formulate my opinions and stuff, I also go read other people's reviews, other people's opinions, everything surrounding the comic book, so I can get other perspectives, or there might be things in the comic book that I missed that I didn't notice. And one guy was talking about Batman's behavior, and this was kind of a throwback to like a Silver Age Batman when he first recruited Robin, and he was really rough on Robin, just like he is in this comic book. Looking at it from that perspective, I'm like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool that he put that in there. And I don't necessarily mind Batman not being dour and stoic like he is now. So that's kind of interesting concept. I didn't like the reveling in violence aspect part, but his attitude didn't bother me. I also liked the idea of this Justice League, this early Justice League trying to take down Batman. That would have been cool if they ever got to that story. But I liked that aspect of it. I liked it was one kind of funny thing where, you know, Batman calls Green Lantern stupid, which he is a stupid character. My complaints about Green Lantern as a fan, Batman voices in the comic book. He talks about how Green Lantern will make a big boxing glove. He could do anything, but he just does dumb stuff. He'll make a big hammer and hit somebody over the head. Like, he just does dumb stuff with his powers. Another funny thing in the comic is that Superman doesn't know he can fly yet, so he just runs really fast everywhere. And I just thought that was kind of funny. Oh, another aspect I like was Wonder Woman is more of like a classic Amazon in this. Like, she hates men. At one point, I think she calls men just sperm banks or something. She literally hates all men. And a lot of people didn't like that, but I thought it was kind of cool. I like the concept of being like, she's like a real Amazon. She doesn't like men. She's a warrior. I've always liked the warrior angle of Wonder Woman. I don't like her as a superhero. I've always found it kind of goofy and stupid. I would like to see her in armor. I really like the way she was designed in Dark Knight Strikes. Dark Knight Strikes Again. So I really like that aspect about it. So yeah, overall, you know, not a recommend. It's funny, I never planned on talking about comic books that I didn't like on here. And I decided I was going to like this comic book before I ever read it. So I was wrong about that. Not a recommend. Maybe they'll get around to finishing it. Like I said, the last issue I think was done in 2011. They even as late as either 2015 or 17, they were talking about getting around to finishing it. But again, who knows? But so far, not a recommend. Hate to say it, but you know, that's the way it is. Oh, also, I would like to say, it might sound like I'm ragging on Frank Miller in this review, but ultimately, I'm a major Frank Miller fan, and if they finish the series, I'll still read it. I mean, I pretty much read anything Frank Miller writes, even if it's bad, because I just like his work. I've got another comic book review. I reviewed Kill 6 Billion Demons, so you should go check that out if you want to see that. And also, I have other videos where I do illustration and stuff like that. Got anything to say? You know, comment, and please like and subscribe. and I'll catch you next time. Peace.